Well, I'm delighted to say a club great is back with us. The number 32 shirt is active again. It's Darius Charles. How has this come about, Darius?
Thank you first and foremost for calling me a club legend. You call me off camera, but I'll let you tell it. But so since leaving the club, Robert and I have always kept in contact. I think he has a brilliant football in mind, and just general ethos on how the game should be played, and more specifically how players should be treated, and the autonomy that they should be given. And as I said, we'd spoken numerous amount of occasions, and coming into the end of this season, or obviously seeing how well he had done once taking over the team, I'd always message him and just congratulate him on a job well done, because it's never easy to come in halfway through the season and get a team that is destined for relegation to finish with top 6, top 8 form, which is fantastic. So we'd had many a conversation, and in doing so, we felt as though it would be good to bring me back in a new capacity, not necessarily playing as much, because obviously there's a young team that has a wealth of ability and talent, and it really is time for them to shine. But what I do bring is a lot of experience, a lot of success in terms of my career, and understanding and appreciating the process by which you go about creating a successful dressing room, whatever that looks like.
So that's the key thing. I mean, yes, you're going to be registered as a player, but we've got those memories of your teammates in the past saying how great you were in the dressing room around players as well, and that's really important in this role you've got now, with the younger lads.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think at my former club, Wickham, which I had an incredible experience, and I would argue is the greatest time I've ever had in my playing career. One thing that Gareth Ainsworth mentioned to me when allowing me to come back after not playing a single game through injury the season before was that I will never know how impactful I was just with my presence and influence. And although you know that in theory, once the manager says that to you, it really has an impact. And I feel as though if my influence isn't necessarily going to be out there playing as much, then I need to make sure that it is behind the scenes in the dressing room, putting an arm around the younger players, explaining to them the finer parts of the game, the difference between winning and losing, those real fine margins in terms of your day-to-day processes that allow you to create an illustrious career.
But let's also talk about Darius the player as well, because I mean you're fit, you're healthy, you've come back to us from the Championship, and I think so many people in football were so happy to see you having got back in again when there was talk of you're possibly going to have to retire at one stage.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know what I'm like. So as much as I'm sitting here saying it's time to pass on the baton, I'm extremely competitive and passionate and purposeful about anything I do. I don't do it if I'm not those things. So I know once I get on the training pitch and once I get a real taste for it, I'm going to want to play. I'm not saying I'm going to be beating down Robert's door to play, but I'm going to want to play. But again, if I'm pushing myself and pushing those in front of me, then essentially, the performance that goes out there on a Saturday or a Tuesday, whenever it may be, will be direct, effect of the work I've done on the training pitch to make sure the people in front of me are staying, true, honest, authentic, and working, hard day by day to get better.
But looking at the role that you've said already, and also looking to the future as well, you've already done a little bit of work with our academy. You got to know some of our academy lads during COVID, didn't you, in terms of talking to them?
Yeah, so, I was fortunate enough to be able to come in. James and Michael were really receptive to me coming in and acting as a mentor. And I think the word that I've used before, Robbo's, used, and, we can kind of coin the phrase, is like a cultural architect, in terms of, again, creating an environment in which young players and old players and everyone in between can thrive as human beings, because I think the one thing that is really neglected in this sport and in elite environments is that it is a human being you're working with, and the better they are at functioning, the better player they will become, just as a byproduct. So for me, it was really important to be able to come in and speak to some of those young men, tell them my story of disappointment and despair and depression and all these things that are being spoken about more so now, and explain to them that it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and anything that comes easy isn't worth having. And the fact that they are on the beginning of a beautiful journey, and to learn how to best navigate that as they're going through the highs and the lows.
I remember we did an interview at the training ground, and one of the words that came up that you used, which I thought was great, was when you leave a club, you always want to leave it for the betterment. You said of that in terms of any club you've been at. What do you make now coming back to here to see what the fans have done with Plough Lane and what they've achieved getting this to this stage now?
I mean, it's fantastic, and to know that, you know, I had a hand in that with the era, you know, my era at the time at Wimbledon is incredible, and it's nice to, you know, it's kind of come full circle, and I was kind of there at the inception, and now I'm back when it is, you know, hopefully being unveiled to the masses with this coming season, and fans hopefully being allowed to come back in at full capacity. And again, all I aim to do is add value. That is literally, honestly, my mantra. You know, whenever I'm somewhere, like, can I add value? And it may look like a various different things. So as long as, you know, I can add value, then, you know, it's job done for me.
We've spoken in the past as well about the clubs that you've been at in your career, you know, Brentford, Stevenage, Wickham, obviously here as well. It's all sort of like community clubs, it's a close-knit thing. That's always appealed to you during your career, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no secret to who I am in terms of a player. You know, I'm a person. I'm a passionate man. I'm a family man, and that close-knit family unit is extremely important to me, and it has been wherever I've been. So you look at Stevenage, we were a real family. You look at Wimbledon when I came here, we were a real family. You look at Wickham, real family. And when I mean, you know, family, I mean there's nothing I wouldn't do for those, you know, men I've played with, and I don't see them as just teammates. They're not just co-workers. They're, you know, we're brothers in arms. So that's always been important to me, and this club just fits that same narrative where we look at the human beings first, and we treat people, you know, with kindness, care, respect, and create an environment that they can be better in, whether it's here or whether they go on to, you know, pastures new. It's all about helping people be better than they were.
You're talking about the teammates as well, of that great era that you had in 2016 as well. We were just saying, we had that vote by the supporters, the great supporters of this club, saying in terms of the team of the decade, and apart from, I think, Aaron Ramsdale and Danny Kedwell, you're certainly in there. That must mean a lot to you to get voted over. It was a real historic time in Wimbledon's history.
I mean, of course, it's always, you know, nice to be considered one of the, you know, a club legend. You know, I've beat out some great competitions, so that in on itself is incredible for me, and I really appreciate it. Do I concern myself with it much? No, because I don't want to get high on my own supply. You know, there's so much more to come, and, you know, what good is that legacy if I, you know, tarnish it with my time here now? So that's an incredible achievement, something that I will never forget and hold near and dear to my heart, absolutely. But now it's time for, you know, something new. So in coming back, what can Darius add to what he's already, you know, helped create here at this club?
Absolutely. I think there's no other industry as well where you get such a turnover of personnel. I think since you've come back, it's probably just Will Nightingale who's getting to the peak of his career now as well, in terms of players that are still here from when you were last year. But of course, you recognise a lot of the backroom staff here as well, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, you know, KB, bless her, she was here when I was here. You've got Anthony Hartigan, who is, you know, a man now. He was a young boy when I was first here, and PK, Paul Cannon-Bai, was, you know, a young man as well, kind of, you know, same age group as Toby Civic. So to see them now coming back and being kind of, you know, real contenders, if not, you know, first name on team sheet for playing, is like, it's interesting and it's exciting, and I hope that I can help them, you know, propel to the heights that I know their talent will allow them to do, as long as, you know, they have the right mindset and people around them to help them make, you know, the best decisions that they can.
It's great to hear, and of course you've been down the training ground, you've checked out the facilities and what Robbo's tried to doing down there as well at the moment, and the message is very clear, isn't it? Hard work and all the messages up around the training ground.
I mean, listen, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to be at clubs that have had a real family base, and the ethos and the mentality and the values and morals that they hold are near and dear to my heart. And Robbo, coming here was very easy for me because of Robbo and because of his life philosophy, his footballing philosophy, and I truly believe that this is the start of something incredible for this club that they may not even have ever imagined possible. And I'm going to leave it there in terms of that, but this year is going to be very exciting. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be extremely tough. There's going to be highs. There's going to be more lows because that's the nature of the game. But it's the beginning of something. It really is the beginning of something here. And, you know, I don't think I'm just saying it. I think people can feel it. I think people feel it.
Darius, you've already had one promotion with us. That sounds good. It's what the supporters are going to be really pleased to hear, and great to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.